Hey tribe. So in the last video, I spoke about taking ownership of your life. And, I mentioned a couple of things that you need to do to be able to make the steps going forward. And then the following kind of step I want to focus on today is specifically looking at commitment to the process. Now, when you embark on this journey of reconnecting with your authentic self, and you embark on this awakening journey and this evolutionary journey, and you want to really experience it fully. There's quite a lot of you will have to connect with your shadow self, and you will need to be able to connect and go to those kind of darker places in your life, in your space, your soul, that is not easy to always connect with. And why I say you need to commit to the process is because I was exceptionally challenged and am still challenged at this point. I'm probably going to reiterate this point a couple of times, through the other points going forward. But I've also mentioned it previously, is that we need to realize that our personal evolution and our development and reconnecting with self and our authenticity isn't a linear process. In a way, we do experience it in a linear timeline and evolving and moving forward and growing, etc. And because it transpires over a period of time, it gets perceived as a linear process or journey. But in essence, it's not, because we are so multidimensional, and we might grow in one facet of our lives, and we might be able to deal with and heal trauma in one part of our life, and we evolve in that. It doesn't mean that all of our parts are growing or evolving or healing at the same pace. And we might be growing in one part, but other parts of us still need to go through that process. Although you might come to a part of this at the end of the journey, in parts of your life, you are going to return to traumas and things and stuff continuously during this. So you might make progress in some ways, but you might experience that you are kind of stuck in others. And to date, I have been on this journey and this process now for 3 years. I can say, and that's how I've mapped it, how I've gotten to this kind of last part. I can say that I know that I'm in those last steps as I've mapped it, but I'm still being triggered in some ways. Currently, and I'll talk about it when I get there, but I'm currently experiencing quite a lot of fears or resurfacing. A lot of traumas are kind of like triggered again, and I'm being faced by things that I thought I've dealt with, and to an extent I've dealt with, but I haven't necessarily healed from them completely. But in other ways, I'm being confronted by things that I'm not so triggered by anymore, which means I have made progress. So it's like this constant multi-layered evolution and growth. But this process, and I'll explain when you start getting into some of the more kind of challenging parts. When you embark on this, you need to know that you need to commit to this process. If you really want to, if you want to heal parts of your life, and you want to be able to be released from that. And we need to be able to operate in a place of self-love. And you can only apply self-love if you are prepared to know all parts of yourself, the good and the bad. And I'm saying this in inverted commas because there's nothing such as bad. Everything is just what it is. We perceive them either or. And you need to be able to go and connect with your shadow self. And that's the parts of you that we hide. That's the parts of us that we suppress. It's the parts of us that are hurt, that are possibly damaged, that are possibly broken. And many a times we don't want to go there. We don't want to meet those parts of ourselves. and to fully integrate into the most authentic whole version of you, you need to know those parts of you as well. And some of it you will heal from, and some of it will take time, but at least you know that you are there. And therefore, it's important to be able to go to that kind of place within you. And in previous videos, I've spoken about, the times that I've had to confront loneliness and depression when they were kind of like missioning around in my apartment and sit them down and have those awkward kind of difficult conversations. And only when you do them, you can start going to those memories and feelings and things that are difficult to process. And tribe, if you think that the awakening reality, that big defining moment in your life that has triggered this awakening was hard and difficult, if you are fully committed to this process and you are really going to go down this path, it will by far be the most difficult thing you have ever done and experienced. You will go through multiple dark nights of the soul. You are going to be angry. You are going to be frustrated. You are going to be challenged. You are going to be raw. You are going to be, you're going to experience pain. And you'll have to experience it because you have to feel it. You'll have to bring it to the surface. You'll have to experience that. And so much of that we've suppressed over the years, and we don't want to experience it, and life has to carry on, and we just have to go and, be strong and carry on. And especially men that are not really, encouraged to experience their feelings, we just have to suppress and be strong and just motor through and just kind of like, be these strong beings. But we also have feelings and emotions, and we need to experience this. So you need to know that you need to buckle up and bunker down and, and push and get through this. And I'll explain some of these things obviously in the following steps, and it will explain why you really have to kind of like, be prepared for this. But if you're not prepared to make this commitment and you are going to just put a band-aid on it, and when things get tough, you are not prepared to put in the work, then you're not going to see the results that you need to see to progress and get out to the other end. I'm not going to lie, there were days that I would process to a point, and then I kind of back off, and I'm being honest with you, those are the times when I'm actually being quiet on this channel, and when I don't post as often, and I don't actually communicate as often, and so on. You'll see me on my Facebook channel and my Instagram, well, maybe more Facebook. I'd probably, post a meditation or something like that. And on Instagram, I actually post a lot of my, now and again, a picture stuff. But I kind of shut down in those moments from my social media channels. And I'm being vulnerable with you because those are the times that I am working through things, and I am battling through things, and I'm trying to make sense of it. And many people think, and they comment on this and they share this with me, is that I'm always positive and I'm always just looking at it from the silver lining perspective. And I probably try and see the silver lining and everything, but in the quiet times is when I'm dealing with stuff and I'm going there and I'm putting in the work. And I'm having days that I'm being challenged by my fears. I'm being challenged by my insecurities. At these final stages where I'm finding myself now, it's a very tough time, and not to get caught back up into 3D, and you're putting on a band-aid just to fix things and whatever else, and truly allowing my strength to shine and step into my light and my power, whatever you want to call it, is a very daunting process. And you lose people along the way, Best friends disappear. They don't contact you anymore. Um, People just don't resonate with you on the same level anymore, because when you start seeing things for what they are and you start seeing yourself for who you are, you realize how many masks you've actually worn to try and cope and navigate this world. And I found myself constantly being someone else, thinking that's what the world expects of me. And in that reality, I'm no longer authentic and true to myself. And when you start putting up your boundaries and you start saying no to certain things, people don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to deal with you and this new version of you. And slowly but surely, they kind of leave and they move on, and you don't resonate at the same frequency anymore. And that's okay. But what it does is it does become quite lonely. Yes, there are amazing people in my life. And there are people that are very supportive of the journey that I'm going through. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. And they support me in many ways. But there's other people that don't understand it. And I feel that when you go through these things and you're authentically going through it, I think when you start talking about some of these realities, some people are not comfortable to go there, because I've experienced it in the sense that I hold up a mirror in front of people, and I kind of like show them and reflect back what they possibly are not seeing for themselves. And I don't, I think because they're not there yet, or they're not prepared to go there, and they're not prepared to commit to this process, they kind of like withdraw and they kind of just carry on with 3D living and, existing and paying bills and jolling and carrying on and doing whatever, and not really prepared to go where they need to go. So in this step, it's really critical for you that if you are going through this and you're serious about this, like I said, you'll have to commit to this process, knowing that it's going to be tough and hard and challenging and painful and all of those things. But let me tell you, when you step through them and you are able to process and get closer to knowing who you are and connecting with yourself again, it is powerful. Share your thoughts, tell me where you're at, and let's get the conversations going. I appreciate that, and I'm sending you all so much love and light. And remember, just live.